Going to be joined in this break by the chairman of our jury, Olga Kern, who is, of course, the co-gold medalist of the 2001 Van Cliburn International Piano Competition. Welcome back. Good to see you again. I told you I was going to have you back.
I know.
You know what I've been thinking this ever since we started, basically, and that was, how did you choose competition repertoire when you were entering competitions? What went through your head when you were trying to choose what you were going to play?
Yeah, it's always a learning process. You know, from the competition to competition, I was trying to see what actually is more comfortable for me, what is more when I feel more secure in, right. Something what I really love to share with the public, in the different places. So it was always, different and different approach, but everything what I played, always I loved. This is the very important thing to do. You know, when you love the composition and the music you play, it will just be perfect. You will be just, I don't know, you will be very secure and feel good about it.
I think so too, because, I'm sure you've had to play things that you don't love because somebody handed it to you. Here, you're going to play this in 3 weeks and you're just going to do it.
Exactly, like some of the special compositions which were written for the different competitions. I must say that I was very lucky at the Van Cliburn competition in 2001 because I played Judith Zeichmann piece.
I was wondering whether it was Lowell that year, Lowell Lieberman and Judy
Zeichmann. Yeah, so I played her piece and it was just so exciting. I absolutely loved it. So this is why I immediately learned it by memory, so it was never a problem. And actually I played this piece Impronta Digitale, called, couple of times after the competition, so it was a great piece. But in some competitions, you just need to perform something which you really don't feel like, playing. But even though you always need to find, even in this kind of pieces, you always need to find something good, so something exciting. So it will be actually interesting to play for you, to perform for you. And if it's, if it's interesting and exciting for the performer, it will always be interesting for the public, right?
I think we always get that when a performer is really invested and really loves a piece. You can just always tell. I was thinking also of your final round in the Cliburn when you played K595 and the Rachmaninoff third. How did you go about choosing K595? There were a whole list of Mozart. It's your favorite one. That's a good enough reason, which is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a great, and it's my favorite piece. I mean, the concerto. And also because my son loved, even being 1 year old, when I played that piece, he was always smiling.
Oh, yeah?
Being a 1 year old, crying and then, but when I played Mozart 595, he was always smiling. So what can be better?
Right,
Exactly. And I was here by myself during the competition because he was very small, so I couldn't take him with me really. So I was always thinking about him, and that was the perfect reason, to play something like that, to dedicate something to a little boy who was everything for me, and he's everything for me. So that was very special.
And he's grown up to become a pianist.
Yes.
Of course. Now, how did that happen?
Oh my God!
How do these things happen?
I know. He just loved music since, of course, since he was born. He heard the piano the same like when I was born. My parents, both of them pianists, so they played piano, and all the recordings in the family all the time, music. So it was very natural for me, and the same for him. And I asked him if he wants to do something else or play a different instrument, for example. He said, "No, Mama, I want to play piano."
Fantastic.
So he loves piano, and he just graduated from pre-college Juilliard.
Right, and he's going to Prague, I hear.
He's going to Italy. He's
going to go to Italy.
To Imola, Accademia Pianistica di Imola. So that will be very special for him. Yeah.
Who will he be working with in Imola?
He will have a wonderful teacher who actually I studied in Imola when I was there. It will be Boris Petrushansky, who is a wonderful pianist himself and a wonderful teacher. And plus, he will have a great opportunity to work with the different great musicians
visiting musicians.
Yeah, who will be, you know, it always like this. They always invite the best musicians to give a master classes. So that was incredible for me that time when I was there. So I'm sure it will be the same experience. So it will be great.
It's so important to have the best teachers, right? I mean, he's spent several years now with Veda Kaplinski at Juilliard Pre-College.
It's great.
Important to aim for the top there.
Oh yes, and all these 5 years it was just fantastic for him. And before he had the best teacher in Moscow, Valery Pisyetsky in the Central Music School. So he was in the good hands. So I just want him to continue to be in the great hands. So you know he will have the same like my life in the being a student. I had always the best teachers.
Did your parents ever teach you, and did you ever teach your son? That's a hard thing. I mean,
it's a hard thing, and my mom was my first teacher, and she's great with kids. So all the position and everything, hand position, she did for me, and she was a great pianist herself. Her teacher, Nadezhda Golubovskaya, she came from St. Petersburg Conservatory, and it was a very great tradition of old Russian school. And when Cliburn, before Tchaikovsky competition, actually, he visited Nadezhda Golubovskaya in St. Petersburg. So, yeah, she was a great name, and a great pianist. She could play all Bach Prelude and Fugues in one concert, all Shostakovich Prelude and Fugues. Same like Nikolaeva. Exactly. So these kind of people, women, they were so great and so strong. And my mom was fortunate to be one of the students of her. So she taught me when I was little, and of course I always can ask her anything, always. But with my son, it's more complicated because he has such a big personality, and he always wants everything how he wants. So when I'm telling him something, he first needs to say, "I know better," and then he's like, "Yeah, Mom, maybe you're right."
But he has to try it first.
Exactly.
His way.
But he's always very happy when I can sit and listen to him, and he always values of course, I'm sure he always values my advices, because I know that he's always looking at me as a good example to continue and do something good in music.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of a good example, you have a competition named after you.
Yes.
How did this come about? This is this summer, right? It'll happen this summer?
Actually, in the fall, in November, in New Mexico, in Albuquerque. I am there very often.
With the orchestra
with the orchestra, New Mexico Philharmonic. And every year I'm there. And then last year, when I was performing with the orchestra, they asked me if I can give my name to a special project they want to do, and they were thinking to do it for the educational purposes, because they don't have anything in the area except famous Santa Fe Opera Festival, right? So it just, I think it would be great, and I thought, okay, I will give the name, but I really want to have something, really valuable, that the young, very talented musicians will come, and we will find someone really special who will, be shining for many years after in the music world. So I think it's going well, and there are a lot of interest in the area and the community, and a lot of volunteers, and I think my great jury members.
How many will you have on the jury there?
I think it's around 12 people.
Okay.
So and they're from all over the world, mostly pianists, some professors and managers. So it would be a very good,
a mix
group
of good
people. Yes, and the final round is with the orchestra, New Mexico Philharmonic, and then in the semi-final there will be a piece which is already written for the competition, especially by British composer Rory Boyle.
Oh, fantastic!
So, yeah, it will be great, and I'm looking forward for that. It's very exciting.
Is there a particular age limit, like 18 to 30?
Exactly, it's the same, 18 to 32. So it's. As a regular, big competition.
So will it take place over 2 weeks or 10 days?
No, actually 10 days, yeah. So
fantastic. And you'll be there the entire time?
I will be there the entire time.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Speaking of being there, Maggie's over there.
Yeah, so I need to go, okay.
You have to go do your job. Thank you so much,
you,
Olga.
Buddy.
We'll see you
Thank
again
you,
soon.